My name is Mike, and I'm 28 years old. What I'm about to tell you happened to me when I lived in Austin, Texas. I've changed names and a few small details for privacy, but everything else is exactly how it happened. I didn't notice anything missing at first. Whoever came into my apartment wasn't there to steal. They were there to test me using a key I didn't even know existed. I lived alone in a second-floor apartment in a normal building, thin walls, beige carpet, neighbors you wave at but don't really know. The kind of place where you assume you're safe because nothing ever happens. I always locked up. Deadbolt, handle lock, then I'd tug the door to make sure it was set. It was a habit, a ritual. The first weird thing was small. I keep my keys in a ceramic bowl by the door. One night I got home and the bowl was on the floor intact. Keys still there, wallet still there, nothing missing. I told myself I must have bumped it without noticing. I was exhausted from work, so I just put it back and moved on. 2 nights later, it happened again, except the bowl was still on the table, but it was rotated, like it had been picked up and set down carefully. You know when something has been handled. It just looks wrong. A few days after that, I came home from the gym, and my bathroom fan was running. The switch is stiff, you don't bump it by accident. I just stood there in the hallway listening. Just the steady, low hum filling the silence. I checked everything, the closets, every room, behind the shower curtain, nothing. Again, I tried to convince myself it was just me, that I'd left it on in a rush. Autopilot. Then I saw my bookshelf. A framed photo was pushed slightly to the left, and the dust line behind it didn't match. It was a tiny detail, but it screamed at me. I stared at it, frozen, almost waiting for it to fix itself. That night I couldn't sleep. I put a small piece of clear tape between the door and the frame, right at the top, so I'd know if it opened. I took a picture on my phone for proof. In the morning, the tape was still there. I went to work, feeling a little paranoid, but more secure. When I got home that evening, it was gone completely, and the door was locked tight, just like I'd left it. My heart sank. Inside, nothing looked stolen, but the whole place felt used, contaminated. Then I saw it. The cabinet under the sink was cracked open just an inch to one with paper towels and cleaners. Why there? I immediately called the leasing office. The woman who answered sounded completely bored. She said maintenance and management both had keys for emergencies. Then she mentioned a master key lockbox for contractors down the hall and a utility closet. I went straight to the utility closet. The door was already slightly ajar. Inside was a keypad lockbox and a paper list taped to the wall. I scanned the list, and there it was. My unit number, and next to it, a handwritten note. Key replaced 2 weeks ago. I never replaced a key. I never even lost one. I stormed down to the office and confronted the manager. He looked at the note and just called it a clerical error. I asked him to open the lockbox right then and show me the key for my unit. He refused. I told him I was calling the police. He just shrugged and said, "That's your right." That night I didn't stay there. I couldn't. I grabbed a bag and crashed on my friend's couch. Before I left, I set another tall tape again, and this time, a tiny folded paper wedge at the bottom of the door. The next day, I went back. The tape was gone and the paper wedge had been pushed inside. My bedroom closet door was open. One of my shirts was half pulled off the hanger, like someone was interrupted while going through my things. I backed out slowly and called the police from the hallway. The officer asked the usual questions. I showed him the photos I'd taken and the notes I'd kept. His whole expression changed from routine to serious. He told me to document everything and get an indoor camera immediately. I bought a basic camera that day, pointed it straight at the front door, and left for work the next morning, my stomach in knots. At 2:40 p.m., my phone buzzed, motion detected. I opened the live feed with shaking hands and watched my own front door swing open, slowly and silently. A man stepped inside. No mask. No rush. He looked comfortable, casual, like this was perfectly normal. When I got there with the officers, the apartment was empty, no sign of forced entry, but on the kitchen counter was a single paper towel, folded neatly. Sitting right in the middle like a calling card, a message. The manager showed up. Suddenly acting helpful, the officer asked for the electronic access log for the key lockbox. The manager just shook his head and admitted the lockbox kept no electronic record, meaning anyone with the code could take a key, use it, and return it with absolutely no trail. I moved out within 2 weeks. I broke my lease, paid the fee, and didn't look back. On my last night, while carrying out the final box, I passed the utility closet one last time. There was a new unit list taped beside the lockbox. My unit number was gone, just removed, as if I'd never even lived there, as if I and everything that happened had been erased.